is Teacher Edward. I want us to continue with our topic, that is health education, and a subtopic, HIV blood testing. In our previous classes, we have talked about HIV and AIDS. So today I want us to look at HIV blood testing, or in short, HIV testing. So I want us to look at how testing is done, and then the importance of testing. Then after that, we look at the effects of HIV to an individual, to the family, and also to the nation. So to start with, you're supposed to know that the common HIV test that we have is known as ELISA test. ELISA test. The ELISA test helps to identify whether the infected person or the infected person's body is producing the HIV antibodies. Every time a virus or the disease-causing microorganisms enters in our bodies produce some antibodies. We have different antibodies. So we have those that are produced after the HIV enters in our bodies. And those antibodies are known as HIV antibodies. If you go for a test and these HIV antibodies are found in your body, you are said to be HIV positive. Yes, you are said to be HIV positive. And that is the most bad news that mostly a person can get from a test. Yes, knowing that you have a certain disease, and for this case, AIDS. Then, in case you go for that ELISA test, and then the doctor or whoever is carrying out the tests finds that there are no HIV antibodies, you are said to be HIV negative. So if you don't have the virus in your body, you are said to be HIV negative. If if the virus is in the body, you are said to be HIV positive. Then after that, if you are positive, the doctor or the counselor or whoever is taking the test is supposed to give you some counseling to help you overcome that situation, and also to help you live with that virus positively. Then on the other side, if you are found to be HIV negative, that is not a sure ticket that you don't have the virus. You remember when we were talking about the stages, we said that we have 4 stages, and the first stage is the most dangerous. That is window stage. We said it lasts for about 4 to 6 weeks. So that means that you might have probably gone for that test when you are still in the window stage. So after getting negative results, mostly you are advised to go back for another test after a period of 6 weeks. That means that you have entered into the second stage. That is the incubation or the asymptomatic stage. That time, if the virus is in the body will have started releasing the HIV antibodies. And once the antibodies are found, you'll be said to be positive. So if you go for another test and the antibodies are not present, that time you can easily confirm that you are negative. Yes, and then you'll be advised on the things that you do to ensure that you avoid getting that particular disease. Now, where do we go for this testing? Yes. Where does the HIV testing take place? Good, I can see some of you talking about it. So we go for a test in a place known as VCT. That is Voluntary Counseling and Testing Center. Mostly HIV testing is voluntary. You're not supposed to be subjected to it. Some few cases call for that. Otherwise, in most scenarios, or in most cases, you go willingly. Yes. But for people like the pregnant mothers, those ones don't have an option. They have to go through it so as to protect their young ones, the unborn baby. So we go for a testing in a voluntary counseling and testing center. I want us to look at importance of testing, or importance of HIV testing. So why should a person go for that test? Or what makes a person to go for a test? Knowing very well they can be either positive or negative, and mostly positive. Why do people go for a test? What are some of the benefits, or what is the importance of testing? So one of them is to change on behavior. To change on behavior. Yes, you might be a person who has been misbehaving, bad manners all over, here and there. Others may be drug addicts, but they want to change that behavior. That is one of the reasons as to why a person can go for a test, so as to change that behavior. When you want to change your behavior, it's good to know your status so that you start afresh. Another reason is to decide on marriage. There are some people, after attaining a certain age, and this is for adults, they get to a stage where they want to get married. Nowadays, you can't marry somebody without knowing their status. Yes, that is one of the requirements. You have to show that you are positive or negative so that you can decide. That is another reason as to why you go for a test, to decide on marriage. It's good to know the status of your partner. Another reason, it helps to campaign against the spread of HIV and AIDS. So it's a way of campaigning against the spread of that particular disease. Currently, I've seen readers going for a test, that is COVID-19 test, is to help campaign against the spread of that disease. The same case can happen for HIV and AIDS. It's only that sometimes the results of HIV and AIDS are very sensitive to be made public. But you can just go for a test to help campaign against the spread of that disease, or even to create awareness. Another importance of testing is to overcome fear. Yes, sometimes we misbehave, or sometimes can come across an accident where maybe your body open parts comes into contact with another person's open wounds. So maybe if something like that after happening, somebody starts living with a lot of fear, not knowing whether they have the virus in the body or not. Sometimes we have car accidents and many other types of accidents, and others maybe because of their bad manners, bad behaviors. Maybe they also shared skin piercing and cutting tools, and they don't know whether the people they shared those things with have that virus. So you start living with a lot of fear. So to overcome that fear, you just go for a test, and the results will help you overcome that fear. The other, which would be my last, but not least, I know we have other many reasons. You can go for a test so that it can help you plan for your dependents, the future of your dependents. So you have a lot of people who may be depending on you, and to help plan for their future, it's good to know your status, so that if you are positive, you'll be able to know what to do. If you are negative, you can also be able to plan that future. So to plan on somebody's dependent's future. So those are some of the few reasons as to why we go for a test. So look at them. Good. Write them down. Yes, make sure you add 3 more or even 4. Yes, add a few reasons or importance of going for a test. After looking at the importance of HIV testing, I want us to look at the actual testing, the order of testing. The first thing that happens, we have something known as pre-test counseling. Let's start from here, from the word pre. Yes, this word pre. Yes, pre means before. So this is counseling that is done before the HIV testing. You go there, you get the medical expert or a doctor. Before they take the actual testing, they first give you some counseling to overcome fear. HIV testing is not a very exciting experience. Some people sweat. Somebody can easily faint because they don't know the fate. Yes, and nobody goes in that center wanting to be positive. But when you go for that test, there are only 2 answers. You can either be positive or negative. And because of that fear, you need to be counseled. Yes, you need advice. You need somebody to talk to you to help you overcome that fear. It also helps you to get ready for that test after getting some basic facts about this disease known as AIDS. So you first get the basic facts about AIDS, what it is, what it does to your body. There are some people who think that AIDS is death. You are told no. Yes, you're given a lot of facts about AIDS. Then after that, by the end of that counseling, you'll be in a position or you'll be ready for that test. So that is what we refer to as pre-test counseling. The counseling that is done before the testing. And it helps you to overcome fear, and it also helps you to get the basic facts about AIDS. Then after that, you go for the test. Mostly, they take blood sample from the tip of your finger. Yes. Then they do the testing. They guide you on what to observe, on how you can tell whether the antibodies are present or the HIV antibodies are present in your body, what happens when the antibodies are there, and what happens when the antibodies are not there. So after that process, after the doctor does the test, we go to the second counseling. It is called post-test counseling. Post-test counseling. Post, pre, we have said before, this is after. So this is the counseling that is done after the testing, but before the results are released. So it's known as post-test counseling. This is done after the test, but before the results are released. So this one, or this kind of counseling, prepares you to accept the reality. Yes, it helps to prepare you to accept the outcome, whether positive or negative. Because some people, after receiving the results, if they were not taken through this counseling, they can do a lot of things. Yes, I asked some pupils and they told me, some of them were telling me that they can kill the doctor. Yes, they can destroy everything in that room. Others say that they can faint. Yes, what about you? What do you think can happen? Yes, people can do a lot of bad things. But after this counseling, the patient or the person being tested will be ready to accept the results positively, whether the results are positive or negative. So it's very important. These two counseling processes are very important. So after the doctor realizes that you are ready to receive the results, and also maybe helping you to plan your future and also the future of your dependents, the doctor gives or releases the results. So mostly you'll be told that you are negative or positive. There is no any other answer. You are either negative or positive. And I have said that if the results are negative, the doctor advises you to visit him or her after a period of 6 weeks. He said that Windows period is estimated to be of around 4 to 6 weeks. So because the doctor is not sure in which stage you might be if you are infected, they advise you to go back after 6 weeks to ascertain whether you are negative. Yes. So after that, if the results are positive, the doctor will give you further counseling. Yes, the doctor will give you further counseling to help you come into the reality. And also the advice or the counseling will help you to live with the virus positively. Yes. So I have written for you the order of testing. We have said that we have pre-test counseling, we have the ELISA test, we have the post-test counseling, and we have the receiving of results. Yes. So those are the steps that are taken. You first go for the pre-test counseling. After overcoming that fear and getting the basic facts about HIV/AIDS, you look at or you go for the test. After the test, you go for another test, the post-test counseling. This is where you are made ready to receive the results and to accept the reality. After that, you're given the results. So those are a few details about the HIV testing. Yes, you're supposed to be going through the notes to remind yourselves what we have said. We have said that the most common method that is used is known as ELISA test. Those are some of the things that you're supposed to know. Make sure you go through your notes, remind yourselves. Go back to your textbooks, your supplementary books. Make sure you remind yourselves everything. Next time we'll talk about the effects of HIV and AIDS, and this is to you or to the infected person, effects to the family, and also effects to the nation. So until next time, goodbye.